Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges. We are back here again at the Tollington pub. Remember, if you go to watch Arsenal on a match day, this is the pub to be. And actually, even if you don't even go on a match day, it's such a cool place to come to, especially at the moment during the summer when they open all these doors up and everybody's outside and they do some great food in here and that. It really is a proper Arsenal pub, and I absolutely love it in here.
Yeah, and also there's always a chance that a player can come in here like
there
that.
There is. He was, we know Zinchenko will just stroll in here and have
Martin
a drink.
Nketiah was in here the other day.
Yeah. No, it's proper Arsenal.
Proper Arsenal. Cheers.
That's 2 weeks in a row I've got them in.
Yeah.
Yep. Drinking a toast to a great win by Arsenal. I thought a great win on Monday night against Crystal Palace, the old Monday night fixture. Do you know, Lee, that is 4? We played up before Monday. We played 4 Monday night fixtures under Mikel Arteta and lost every single one, including a 3-0 defeat against Palace one time.
Yeah.
So
Hoodoo taken out.
The hoodoo's gone, and I thought it was a real backs against the wall defensive. I wouldn't say masterclass, but I thought we were excellent defensively. You know what I mean? When you consider we had to play so much of that game with 10 men, we were in complete control of the game up until that sending off. And good away performance by Arsenal. Yet again, I think, you know what? Let me find there was another stat I saw. This stat will blow you away. Let me see if I can find it. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Well, I'm going to say, first and foremost, that I don't like the Monday night fixtures. I cannot stand
I'm with you.
Monday night. Because you watch all the games on the Sunday, they win, all the teams win, so the pressure's on.
All right, I got the stat, but
and you think to yourself, right, I can't enjoy my weekend. I cannot enjoy, because you know that come Monday, you've got that to contend with, After 70 minutes, I'm thinking, well, 1-0 up. I haven't really got to worry about my weekend. And then it happens. And all of a sudden, then those last 20 minutes was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But we've done well to get through. But once you've won it, you're back on the train going home and all that. I felt like I needed a cigar or something. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling once you've won that game.
It is a good feeling. I hear you on that Monday night thing, because I hate it, because you got to, like you said, you got to watch everybody else's game. But also this weekend, right, there was the Man United Tottenham game, which for me is always a win-win, right? Whoever loses, right, I'm in the money, because I can banter the Tottenham fans or I can banter the United fans. Obviously, the United fans, they were horrible United. They performed terribly, but I couldn't say nothing. Because, and then there was a Chelsea game where, they've spent all this money, £230 million on 2 players. One missed a penalty, right, in Enzo Fernandez. The other one gave a penalty away in Caicedo. 230 million worth of calamity, right? But again, I was just got my phone up, just about to banter a load of Chelsea fans, and I was like, hey, hold on a minute. Tricky away game. Palace, Monday night. Our record of not winning any games under Arteta on a Monday, let me just put that on hold for now. So you're right, it was a relief. It was a relief to win it. But here's the stat I was trying to find for you. Arsenal have now kept 11 clean sheets away from home in the Premier League since the start of last season. Yeah? 11 Premier League sheets. Who do you think have got the best away clean sheet record in the Premier League?
Well, if we've got 11, we've got to be up there. So I would say it's probably us.
You're right.
It's
us. 11 clean sheets we've kept away. Manchester City, the next best is there's 2 clubs on 7.
Oh, 7?
On 7. Manchester City, Manchester City and Fulham. They're the next best 2. Arsenal, 11 clean sheets away.
So 4 more clean sheets.
4 more clean sheets away than Manchester City. We really are good. I don't know what it is at home. We seem to give goals away in that, but when we go away from home, we are really, really good at keeping clean sheets. And you know what? Sometimes it's like a lot of our fans don't even appreciate a stat like that. Like how well we've been doing away from home. Obviously the majority of that was last season, but last season we went away and kept loads of clean sheets.
Listen, I always said, do you remember we used to have poor records away from home, and I always banged on about it because you defensively not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a good defence, you will.
But you can't argue that at the moment because we've got the best.
Oh, listen, we've got a very, very good defensive record. Changed it a little bit on Monday. I will say this, but we've got good players now.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I mean, Saliba, look at that.
Saliba,
did you see that tackle he made when
he was
against Ayew, where he sort of made a mistake, gave the ball away, Ayew was in, and Saliba just gets back at him with a brilliant tackle.
Unbelievable. And I will say this, you know, and people say I've got a thing for Ben White, right? Like, you know, I actually do like Ben White. I think, like, I'm going to be really honest, he's my favourite defender because I like the way he defends for a start. He's got that little bit of nastiness in his game. I thought he was brilliant again on the game against Palace in front of Gareth Southgate, playing central defence now. Gareth, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you didn't play him because he was out of position last year, you know. But he played central defence or where he was playing. I thought he was brilliant, and then he played really, really well as a right back. But they're all good defenders.
Yeah,
they're all good defenders.
And I think this is why Mikel Arteta is starting to go with this formation in certain games. I don't think he's going to do this.
No, he won't
game.
do it all the time.
But again, I think we've got to give him some credit here, right? Because even before the game, when I saw the formation, I was like, all right, I understood it against.
Not everybody.
I understood it against Forest, right? Because we're at home and they're going to stick everybody behind the ball. But I'm like, even though I know Palace are going to be deep because it's a Roy Hodgson team and you know what he's going to do in these games, I was like, it's a bit risky to do it away from home, right? But we got a clean sheet and we defended brilliantly. And I get them. I get what he's what his thinking is. He's looking at it, he's saying, if a team's going to sit back with 2 banks of 4, why do I need 4 at the back? I've got 3 really competent defenders. I know Saliba, one-on-one, excellent. I know Ben White, one-on-one, excellent. I know Tomiyasu is good, strong defender as well. I only need 3, and then I can drop Partey back in there. I mean, to be honest, we only really saw Partey playing as a right back once we went down to 10 men. Up until that, he was just another midfielder. So that formation enables him to get an extra man into midfield, which means we dominate the ball and we can really take it to teams that stick everybody behind the ball. It's a bit of a risk, but
it is very much a risk, and I can tell you this now: if it goes wrong, he's going to get pelters. Because
he's had 2 successes,
but everybody's not convinced. Before the game, everybody wasn't convinced. But you have to look at it. When was the last time we went to Crystal Palace or somewhere like that and totally dominated the game? 70 minutes gone, we kept the ball. You know what I think his theory is like, if we've got the ball, the other team can't score, and I think that's what it was. I look at it like Aaron Ramsdale. What did he actually do in that game?
Nothing.
He was very, very quiet. They had one chance, which was a difficult one. He had one save from distance. But when you look at it from that point of view, and listen, we're going to the Kai Havertz thing in a minute. When I've had to look back at the game because you think, like, I'm having to watch it again, but we ain't got the worry of the game. And you actually look it back, you think, well, we're never really in danger of losing that game.
No.
So you have to give the manager credit for that.
You have to, and by having that extra man in midfield, you had Partey, you had Declan Rice, you had Odegaard, you had Havertz, right? That meant that every time Eze, who's a really, really dangerous player, every time he got the ball, they were able to crowd him out.
Yeah.
And he couldn't really do what he normally does from midfield. So it was a really smart tactic that really, really worked. It was Eddie Nketiah who won the penalty with his sharpness. Now, I'm going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about 2 things in this podcast, right? Eddie Nketiah, I think we saw everything about Eddie Nketiah in the game. First of all, he had that sharp turn where he hit the post. I thought he was a bit unlucky with that. At first, I was thinking, she should have scored. But when I look back at it, I mean, his sharpness got into the position. It wasn't an easy chance. He was a bit unlucky. He hit the post. The second one, when he went for the chip, when he was in, which was a lovely assist by Declan Rice, who for me was unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Night, right? He went for the wrong option. Why he tried to go for a chip there when he should have probably just tried to smash it at an angle? I don't know. and then he wins the penalty. I thought he was excellent on the night, apart from that miss. However, there were some fans still very critical of him, as they were with Kai Havertz as well. And it's almost like those two players at the moment seem to have a little agenda against them by certain fans. They don't get a chance. You know, remember, Kai Havertz, he's only just come to Arsenal. I said we was doing the player ratings after the game, me and Cecil outside the stadium. And I said that when I was rating Havertz, I said, listen, he weren't bad, but he weren't that, you know, he was just an average performance. He wasn't. Now, I know we want to see more. He's cost a lot of money. He's under a lot of pressure to do really well. But I do think we've got to give him a bit of time. I mean, we gave Dennis Bergkamp time, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, what's your opinions on those two players, right? Is there a bit of an agenda against Kai Havertz and Eddie Nketiah? Have you been guilty of it? I don't know.
I'm a little bit guilty of it with Eddie at times, because you're in that moment, aren't you? And I think that when you sit back and assess it, like, forget about Havertz, man. Let's talk about Eddie. Eddie to me is a squad player, right? And you know, when people turn around and go, he's never be good enough for Arsenal, right? Well, yeah, he is if he's a squad player.
He is good enough for Arsenal.
Yes, as a squad player, he's good enough. If he's going to be the number one, playing week in, week out, probably not. But for what he does and comes in, you know, let's be honest, if you sat there and think, God, we're desperately missing Jesus at the moment. No. So that tells me he's doing his job.
Listen, it's exactly the point I was making, right? So last season, our main guy is Jesus.
Yeah.
That's our main striker at the moment, right? Jesus last year was out for 4 months of the season. Eddie Nketiah came in. Eddie Nketiah did brilliantly. I was having this argument with Troops the other night. He's like, nah. I said, no, hold on. He did brilliantly. We didn't miss him. We didn't go through a period where we lost games. He scored vital goals, including the goal against Man United. Troops tells me, oh yeah, but look, it was just a tap-in. What difference does it make? That goal won us the game against Man United, right? In the last minute of the game. He scored crucial goals for us. Now, rewind forward to, or should I say forward to this season. Unfortunately, Gabriel Jesus out again. Eddie comes in, first game, scores. The goal that gets us going. Called in again to Troops. Sorry, Troops, I'm calling out your name, but I called in again because me and him were arguing about this the other night, right? Called into Troops, yeah, but he had a little deflection. So what? He's in the right place at the right. That's what I'm saying with agendas, right? Goal by Eddie Nketiah, 1-0. And then the other night, all right, he missed that chance, but he didn't get his head didn't drop. He didn't disappear out of the game. He kept doing what he was doing. Brilliant little turn, right? Quick speed, wins a penalty that wins us the game. What is this agenda against him? I agree with you. He's not, you know, your number one striker. He's not Haaland. He's not in that category. But as a striker that is part of the squad, I think he's done a great job for us.
He is, and I'll tell you what, like, it is a funny thing when people turn around and go, it was only a tap-in, right? Okay, so it's only a tap-in. So why are you moaning then that he misses from 5 yards? You know what I mean? Like, because it's only a tap. You know what I mean? You've got to.
If he gets 20 tap-ins, I'll be happy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And there's an art to that, Robbie. There's an art. You know what I mean? Like, you know, getting a tap-in into the game. You know, if you talk to the goal scorers, Gary Linekers and Ian Wrights of this world and all that, go, how come you got all those tap-ins? They won't be able to tell you. Because it's just instinct. It's something that they've got in their game, in their locker, and other players don't do that. But for me, yeah, like, you know, I'm cursing him when he misses that one from 5 yards, because he's got to score that.
I think he should have scored that.
He's got to score that.
And that's what he's got to sort out in his game. He needs to get a bit more clinical.
Game. But in saying that, I look at it and I try and be really honest. He's had 3 chances in the season so far. He scored 1. You know what I mean? Like, the other 2, he's
hit
missed.
The post with 1.
He's hit the post with 1, and
the other one he should have scored.
But the vital one against Forest, if you look back at that game, they had a chance, missed it. We had a chance, Eddie scored it. So I think you have to look at and judge Eddie, and I judge Eddie as a squad player, not as the main man at Arsenal, because as soon as Jesus is fit, Jesus will come back into the team. That's what squad players do. And I was having this conversation yesterday. Whether you're playing non-league football, Sunday football, or professional football, you need a couple of those players, squad players, that can come in, know that their job is, do it, then come out again. And also, they've got to have a mentality which I think is better than the superstars of the team, because they've got to put the team first. So for me, Eddie probably knows in 2 weeks' time, probably like Man United, he might play Man United, but he knows that Spurs is coming up in a few weeks' time. Jesus will be back. The chances are he'll be on the bench that day. But he accepts it, gets on. When he comes in, he does his job. Now, for me, he's never ever going to actually win the fans over. But I will say this in his defence, that the fans do love him. The away fans give him, Eddie. So he does get a good thing, but he's never ever going to be loved. But you know
what I love about Eddie Nketiah, right? I love his attitudes. You constantly hear the manager. Did you hear the manager what he said about the first game of the season? He was like, he didn't start in the Community Shield, and he goes, he works, he wanted to start, he was desperate to start in that game against Forest, and he said the way he trained during that week was like a beast, and he goes, I couldn't leave him out. When you hear stuff like that, man, I mean, those are the type of players you need in your team.
100%.
Like you said, those are the type of players you need in your squad, and I really do want people to start judging Eddie Nketiah on what you see and what he's delivering, instead of like there's some fans that got this preconceived thing where, it's just like, well, he's never going to be the one. Yeah, I mean, let's see, let's give him a chance. He's never really had a big run, but he's getting a little run at the moment, and he's delivering.
Listen, he's never
delivering. He's been, he was the difference the other night.
He's never going to be the number one at Arsenal, right? I don't think that he is. He is what he is. He's a squad player. Now, at the end of the day, everybody would slag him off, right? If he, like even against Forest, even against Monaco, he got a real stick in that game in the Emirates Cup, and he scores. Now, if he was to score in every game and play like he did, and gets 38 goals, people would go, wow, he's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, it ain't going to happen, but that is what it is. What it is.
He's and when you look at a lot of teams around the Premier League, right, and their main striker comes off, there's not many that do what he does, is there? I mean, because all right, I'd say you got like obviously a Julian Alvarez is a brilliant player at Man City, and if Haaland's missing,
but the drop off is massive.
But he always comes in and does a job. But there's a lot of other teams there, top teams that if their main striker ain't playing, I mean, it's the backup that come in doesn't really.
That's why.
So I think we got to start putting respect on this guy's name. And I've said it before.
I appreciate him as
if he was Eduardo Nketiah or from Brazil.
Eduardo
right?
Instead of Eddie, like that's right.
Eduardo Nketiah from Brazil. You know what I mean? He wouldn't get the stick that he gets. I'm convinced about it, man. I'm convinced about it. And
I was just going to say one thing what I was impressed with when we was in America, like. We was playing the All-Stars. He come off at half-time with Saka, and they was doing some work at half-time right by me. So so they was running to the halfway line and back, 18 yards and back. And I watching Saka was going through the motions. Not having a go at Saka, he was going through the motions of it, like, do you know what I mean? Getting up, he was doing it. Eddie was putting it really in, you know what I mean? He's doing it individually, so one would do it, then the other one would have a rest and everything like that. But when I was watching Eddie doing it, he was really going for it, and I thought, that's a guy that wants it. I could see that. I'm when they say that he's training and all that, I imagine that he's showing that enthusiasm and thing, and you think, at the end of the day, what I think I've got to give Eddie credit for, I think when he walks away from Arsenal or his career, he has given his absolute all for his ability. and you can't ask for no more than that.
And let's not forget, he's a guy that's come through the ranks. at Arsenal, you know what I mean, as well. So that's brilliant. That's brilliant. He's come through the ranks. The other one with the agenda. Now, I can understand this one a little bit more. He's under pressure to do well, and that's Kai Havertz. He's been bought in £65 million if you include all the add-ons. That's a lot of money, right? That he's been bought in for. A lot of fans were not convinced with the signing. It really is a Mikel Arteta signing. But there were a lot of fans that were like, why? Why we bought Kai Havertz in from Chelsea? He didn't pull up trees. He didn't do nothing there. But again, it was mixed about him the other night. He's under a lot of pressure. I mean, I heard some radio presenters calling him absolute rubbish and things like that. I mean, he's not rubbish, right? He's a very, very talented footballer, but people are drawing comparisons already between him and Ozil. That sort of languid style, that, you know. But again, if you actually check out his performance on Monday, this is me again, looking at it, he did all right in the first half, I thought. And then in the second half, when now we're backs against the wall, he was then, and this is one thing about him, he's versatile. He was then sent up front with the manager saying, right, hold that ball up for the team and do a job for us up front, which he did do. I mean, I don't know, what did you make of his performance?
Listen, I actually had to go back and watch it because I thought he'd done okay in that game. Yeah, nothing special. But I hate to think when he's going to have a bad game, what's going to happen. I really do, because I thought he was okay. And I come out of the ground, and you know what I mean, and I thought, yeah, if Martinelli has a better touch, he gets an assist. You know, that was a lovely pass out to Martinelli very early on in the game. I thought he worked really hard. He battled with everybody. He's got that little bit of what I like in a player, a little bit of skullduggery. If things ain't going, puts his foot in there, makes lovely little fouls that don't necessarily are bookings, but just does enough to stop things and things like that. He's learnt that probably from the Chelsea, way and things like that of how to play. And I actually looked at it and I thought it was a good move from Arteta to put him up top in the last 10, 15, because we weren't going to run behind them. Someone to hold the ball and give us a platform to play. I thought that he'd done that. And then I come out of the ground and people are slagging him off, and I think, I have to have a watch back because I thought he'd done all right. And I watched it back, and he did do all right. He weren't great, but he weren't bad.
Yeah, he had a decent performance.
It just you know what I mean. And sometimes that's good enough. But yes, you want to expect better. He was unlucky with a shot that just went wide, and we do expect a little bit more. But this is a thing that's happened with Arsenal for years and years and years. There's always been a player that the fans just don't take to, and we'll give him stick. And I go back.
He's that player, isn't he?
He's that player, mate. You have to win them over. Listen, I go back to when I was first watching in the 80s. Paul Davis used to get a tremendous amount of stick. But what a good player was, but he won the fans over, and everybody now thinks what a great. But he got stick.
A great player. Yeah.
Chris White got a little bit of stick before he started. Gus Caesar was another one, old Gus got a bit of stick.
Gus used to get a bit of stick,
and then you can go through to Xhaka. You know what I mean? Got a little bit. Our good friend Kevin Campbell got a little bit of stick to
Kevin
start.
Campbell got a bit of stick to start with,
with. Where Ian Wright couldn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Kevin did. And then you look at Bentner. There was another one that we used to get it, so they've all been there. Denilson. I could go on to him. Giroud, you know what I mean? There's some...
Giroud coming in on the back of players like Henry and that.
So it's been
something... The late, great Claude, calling him a lamppost.
Yeah, calling him a lamppost.
You know what I mean? So you're right. What you said there, you're right. He's got to win the fans over. He's in a position where...
I think the Chelsea thing doesn't help him.
Nah.
If he'd have come from Germany, straight from Germany, I think maybe it would be a little bit... And also, I'm going to have to say is that if you be honest, or I'll be honest now, we've got £65 million to spend. Who are you going to spend it on? Kai Havertz in my list.
No.
And I don't think he's on anybody's list.
He's got to win. Listen,
Maddison, who's doing very well down the road now, would have been on a lot of Arsenal fans' lists. Other players, but I don't think. I'm going to be really honest. It was not
the price tag. The price tag is heavy, right? When I saw Arsenal. And remember, he was the first signing that Arteta made this summer.
Yeah.
It's a Mikel Arteta signing this. He wanted him. And I've said it before on previous shows, right? That look at the clubs that wanted him. Real Madrid wanted him. Bayern Munich wanted him. Arsenal wanted him. These are not small clubs. These are not fringe clubs that wanted him. These are big clubs that wanted him, right? I, at the time, was like, why? You know what I mean? That's going same as you said. I'm £65 million, man. We can go and buy like a whole host of players.
Yeah.
Why Havertz? He's come in. Obviously, I'm going to back him. But I would say, I have no agenda against him. But he's got a lot to prove.
100%.
He's got a lot to prove. And I think that's the problem he has at the moment is that if he puts in an okay performance, okay's not what a lot of fans want to see. They're like, yo, you in particular, mate, we want to see big performances. And he's going to have to win over the fans. You said it. He's going to have to win them over.
Listen, people ask me now, like, I want £1 for every time people ask me on the streets or whatever like that. They don't ask me...
What do you make Havertz?
Yeah. Declan Rice, he must be loving this because he's just gone, £105 million. He's gone well under the radar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And players and
he's
supporters.
Been brilliant.
But he wasn't at first. I'm going to be really honest. The first couple of games, he just eased his way in. But that's fine.
Yeah, he's brilliant the other night.
He was brilliant the other night. But Kai Havertz can't ease his way in. You know what I mean? So I'd imagine like Declan sitting there and going, I'm glad you've come here, Kai. I've had a nice easy ride. But so that's the question I get asked all the time. First of all, right, the first question, would he have been would have you wanted to sign him? I'm going to be really honest. Let's get it out of there. No, he wasn't. What do you think of him in that? Unsure.
Yeah.
I'm unsure at this moment in time. He's got to win. Where is he going? Where do you think he should be playing? I'm not sure. What is he being shoehorned? Is another one there into the team. I think he is at this moment in time. You know what I mean? So what does that do? Puts more pressure on him. So is he going to be a success? I don't know. You know what I mean? Do I want him to be a success? Yes, I do. You know what I mean? Because I want him to because he's an Arsenal player now. Do I think he's going to be? I'm
too early to say.
It's too early to say. I can see it going both ways here. I think he's either going to be a massive success or he's going to be a flop. Now, then it comes on to right.
Yeah, because he can't have a middle ground.
There's no middle ground with him.
No,
I don't think there's going to be a middle ground with him because I think there's a lot of fans out there at this moment. I've said this before, and I'm not having a go at the fans. It's everybody's a thing.
Yeah,
there is a few fans that still want to have a little dig at Mikel Arteta for whatever reason, And listen, going to the game on Monday, people were having a little moan about Arteta. Yeah, he's doing this and he's doing that. You know what I mean? I don't know. He is proving people wrong every single time. But this is one where if it doesn't go right, this can be not just at Kai Havertz, this can be at the manager and everything.
Yeah, we've got to trust Mikel Arteta. You know what I mean? It's not the first signing he's made where people have been like, why? We did that with Aaron Ramsdale.
Ben White as well.
Why? We did that with Ben White. Why? £50 million Ben White. Why? Right? So we've got to trust him. He's earned the right to get the trust of the fans. I think with Kai Havertz, what he could really do with this week at Fulham is a goal. If he could get a goal in that game, get himself up and running, I think that could really... Because I think until he gets a goal, there's still going to be a lot of fans that are like... I don't
Scored
know,
in America, didn't he? Look good in America.
Scored in America, that's America. That's the pre-season.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on about in the Premier League,
he
could do with getting on the score sheet. So... but he hasn't been bad. He's not been bad. But there's a definite agenda against him at the moment.
I'm going to give you £20.
There's a fan the other day who said, I've got an agenda.
Yeah.
He actually said it. I'm like, well, how can you have an agenda against a player that's playing for us? He got, I've got an agenda because we shouldn't have bought him. But let's wait and see.
I see two things here. I do see with the criticism at times, and I'm watching it again. He does. We whip the ball around very, very quickly. It gets to him and he slows it down a little bit. But what doesn't he do? He doesn't give it away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's something.
And he's
like
new to the team.
He's new to the team.
He's new to the team. You've got to remember that as well.
I'm going to give you £20 now, right? Go and put it on a goal. Who's gonna score? You ain't putting it on Kai Havertz. I'm going to be really honest.
Nor am I.
Yeah, nor
I'm
am I.
putting it on Kai Havertz, man. I'm putting £20 on Kai Havertz to score on Saturday against Fulham.
I'll do the same then. We'll do it like that.
20 quid.
We're going to lose it. Like, I mean, but you're not going to be confident. But when you'd put £20 on, would you? I'd put £20 on Eddie. I think like Martinelli.
I'll put £20 on Eddie.
You know what I mean? So, but listen, I'm going to be really honest. You know, Martinelli is my favourite player. I love him. He was poor on Monday, right? But I don't come out of the ground. And I tell you, which is a funny thing. You can put this in with Eddie as well. Martinelli didn't play well today. What's the first thing players say? Yeah, but he works hard. He works hard for the team. You know, he done this and done that. Well, so does Eddie work hard for the team. So did Kai Havertz. But there's not that same sort of
same energy.
Same energy.
Yeah.
You know, he's had a bad game. Like, you know, I don't mind calling out Gabby and saying that he's had a bad game. He was fantastic against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
But there's straight away there's a defence mechanism goes up for certain players.
For your favourite players.
For your favourite players, you know what I mean? Like, and it happens in football all the time. Like, Saka, you know, can't do no wrong, and rightly so. Like, you know, I'm going to be really honest, you know what I mean? If I'm Ben White, I'm sitting there going, bloody hell, Saliba gets it all. I look back on it. He had just as good as game as Saliba.
Yeah.
But Saliba, for whatever reason,
we all love Saliba.
We all love Saliba. Like,
you know what it was, right? You know what it is with Saliba, right? We were crying out for a really
top class
centre back, and he's that guy.
Yeah.
So we love him. And he's young, and you know what I mean. So we love him.
And I'll be really honest with you. I'm going to be really honest with that. I'm a big Shinchenko fan, really, love him. He come in and done absolutely nothing in that first game against Crystal Palace. He signed in it last season. They make up this song, which is fantastic, right? And all of a sudden he's a favourite, and he ain't done nothing yet. Right? But
he had a good season.
But he had a fantastic season. But what I'm saying is there was a love and energy for him.
Yeah. Just get those certain players,
which you haven't got with, you haven't got that with Havertz. He hasn't got that same energy coming in that other players have got. Like Xhaka had to win players. Like if I look at,
you have to win.
You have to win over. And do you know what? I'll be really honest with you on Xhaka. If he would have, I'll be really honest. If he would have. If you'd have said to me he'd win the fans over, he never would have done it. But he did. You know what I mean? Like Paul Davis done it. It can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done. It can be done. Like,
what do you make of the sending off?
Oh, like, you know, I'm going to say it now. Like, you know, people. I know. Like, listen, I'm going to mention him. I don't like mentioning our mate Ty. You know what I mean? Like, but he's right. You know what I mean? There is an agenda against Arsenal players. I've got to say that now. I look at that. I look at the sending off, and I think to myself, "Come on,
referee!
Come on, referee!" Like it was like I look at other teams. I look at other players. I'm going to talk about Rodri, Man City, and all that. They're looking. Can I keep? Oh, let's try and keep it 11 on 11.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I'll let him off, and I get that what they do that. But when it comes to Arsenal, there's a can't wait to send him off. Oh, this is it. This is my big moment.
Listen, the first one, the time wasting.
Not a problem with it. I ain't got a problem with it.
Weren't even Tommy Asu.
No, but it don't matter.
Weren't even him wasting the time though. He shouldn't have got the yellow card, right?
You know what's going to happen in football, don't you? The ball will be left down there, and like they're all going, I ain't picking it up because I'm going to get booked. I ain't picking it up. Right?
And then the second one, I mean, he barely. He's almost like a refract section where he's gone to touch him, and then he's gone like that. Player goes down, and the referee, basically the crowd, went mad because they're already upset about the penalty being given against them, and the referee bought it hook, line, and sinker. A referee should not be influenced by the crowd. No, a referee,
but they do. But this is for me. This is where I'm going to go on it again. I'll go on about it week in, week out. VAR. is not VAR's the problem. It's the people running it. Because listen, I watched it with the McAllister one. You know that's not a sending off, right? So VAR have got a duty to not only to the game of football, but to the fans as well, that are at that game, right? It changes the game completely. VAR can look at that and go, do you know what? That's not a sending off. All right. Now, what makes this ridiculous now is VAR cannot get involved because it's a second booking. That's scary. Well, why are you getting involved in offsides and everything? You know what I mean? Things. The things with football is plain. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. There was a mistake there. Now, if there's a mistake, whether it's a yellow card, whatever, just do the right thing. Now, they've seen that in VAR. The VAR have got the right to come in and go, do you know what, that ain't a booking. Have him back on the pitch or whatever, And I just think VAR now is
yeah, because it should get involved because it's the second yellow that got him sent off. That changed the game. And the referee so early in that second half. I mean, honestly, it was a shocking decision. It really was.
But they can't get involved. But they can get involved with an offside and get out rulers and wait there for 5 minutes and whatever. Also, get involved with a penalty decision. I never knew this because it actually come up on the screen, party penalty, and everybody's laughing and going, no, it's Eddie that got fouled. But they're looking at party because he bumped into the
blocked him off.
So they're looking at something like that and could change a decision for that, but they can't change a decision which is just as big for a booking. No, we can't do nothing. I think VAR and the people who run it.
The people who run it is still,
is embarrassing.
Still not fit for purpose.
It's still not fit for purpose. No,
but we got the job done, and of course now big game at the weekend. Fulham at home, 3:00 kickoff.
Massive game.
I said it right from when I saw the fixture list. These are some good fixtures for Arsenal. We got a chance to get off to a winning start. Man United next week, they ain't been doing great so far. I'm sure they're going to do better, but so far. Honestly, Arsenal got a chance here to get off to a good start. Fulham at the moment, have got off to a poor start of the season. They've lost Mitrovic.
Massive.
They're missing a striker. I think Paulinho could be back for the game, who's been out. He's a good player. But if Arsenal are on it, they should be looking at this game as 3 points. I remember Fulham did give us a tough game last season.
Yes.
A lot of that was to do with Mitrovic.
Yeah. 1-0 down, weren't we? And we just pulled it round at the end. About this time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but this is a big chance to keep the winning run going, isn't it? I mean, if we can go into that international break by beat Fulham, beat Man United, and be on maximum points, I mean, what a start to the season it'll be.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think we're playing Fulham exactly a year to the day what we played them last year, which don't happen very, very often. But I listen, when those fixtures come out, 4 games, 3 of them at home, 1 away. You've got to be taking maximum points, Robbie. And
look, I always looked at it and thought the real tricky one was that Palace one. It's never ever easy to go away to Palace, especially on a Monday night. Right, we've got the job done here.
2 games at the Emirates with 6 points. It's got to be 6 points.
2 teams that we beat last year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at 6 points.
And 2 teams that have started the season poorly. Massive opportunity for Arsenal, especially this week against Fulham.
And so I'm looking at it and thinking, listen, there's only 3 teams in the Premier League after 2 games that have got maximum points. So, we need to just...
us, Brighton, Man City and Brighton.
Yeah, so, and we've got 2 home games now to just nail it home a little bit more. Just make sure that, by the time we go into that international break, we're 12 points in front, because I'll tell you what, we've got a difficult few games coming back. We've got Everton away, which we know, Tottenham at home, and I think Man City as well in that as well. So it's so vital that you get off to a good start now, and you cannot afford to drop points. I'm come away from that game. It weren't the greatest performance against Palace, but at the end of the day, it's all about the result. Now it switches for me. We're at home. I expect a good performance and goals. You know what I mean? And obviously the 3 points. in the next 2 games. I don't care if it's Man United, Man City, or whatever. We have to
if
win.
He's going to go with
games.
the same formation.
This game he will. It'll be very interesting what he does if Zinchenko comes up. I think he'll play Nketiah at left back this game.
Yeah, I don't think Tierney's going to get it.
Nah, Tierney might.
Tierney's out.
Well, where is Tierney going to go? This is the thing. Like everybody, there's a great point made at me. Like everybody keeps going. Everywhere I go, there's another one. Tierney, like he's a big favourite. I'm not having a go at him here. Like I'm a big Tierney fan as well. Like but if he's that great, there's no one pulling up trees to sign him, is there?
At the moment, no. It's like Celtic, Real Sociedad. Those are the 2 teams that are interested in him at the moment. Possibly Villa. But should we be selling Kieran Tierney to Villa as well? That's the other thing. Can take points off.
I think he's still got a future. Like for me now, really, Kieran Tierney should play on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
But he's not going to. I think it'll be.
I think you're right.
Nketiah or Zinchenko will play. Now, if Zinchenko plays, you can't have him at left back and Thomas Partey at right back. So that things will have to change. So I think that maybe that if he does that, this is the problem that he's got then. Where do I put Thomas Partey? Well, you have to put him back into midfield, and I have to either drop Eddie or Havertz. So I think that maybe like if he plays Nketiah in there, I think that he can get all of his guys in. So I'll be very, very surprised it's not Nketiah. Then the game against Man United, it will definitely be Zinchenko in there. Ben White, Gabriel will come in as well.
The back four will go back in.
Go back in there. I think there's a little bit of talk about Gabriel. I'm getting a little bit concerned about that now.
Well, there was rumours, there's teams from Saudi Arabia coming with big money. There's Real Madrid been looking at Gabriel because, obviously they've lost Militao to a long-term injury, another ACL. He's out, so they're looking at him. But all the talk is that Arsenal have already said to all these teams that even if... I saw this story the other day that Arsenal said, even if you came forth with 200 million euros, we're not selling Gabriel. So...
Would you sell him though? Like if you could get someone like... What's the Crystal Palace centre after?
Mark Gahey. Yeah, I've seen that link.
There's a link there that they're going to sign. Sell him.
I wouldn't, because to me, right, I think that Gabriel has been a very important player for our team.
I am.
Right, and I wouldn't like to see him sold. I think he's formed an excellent partnership with Saliba, and no, I don't want to see him sold. No. I just feel
why now is this happening though? Because
is Mark Gahey better than Gabriel? And I don't think so. No, you know what I mean. Look how many goals Gabriel scored from set pieces. Look how important he's been to us over the last couple of years.
Massive, but why I will say this about Gabriel. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Is he played every game in America? He had a dodgy game against Man United with that mistake and all that. And then come the season, he ain't started the game. Why?
I just feel it's the change in tactic. As I said at the start,
he never changed that tactic last year.
But I just feel that he's looking at it and saying, right, I'm coming up against these low block teams. Didn't really play against them type of teams in pre-season. I'm coming up against these low block teams. I want to have an extra man in midfield. Remember, towards the end of last season, he did that, didn't he? He had Partey playing in this right back position. He was experimenting with it then. Right, Manchester City kind of do the same thing. They look on it and they say, right, if you're going to sit behind the ball, you're going to have everyone behind the ball. There's no point in having four at the back.
I
we'll
agree.
have that extra person in midfield. And Gabriel, unfortunately, is not your ball playing player.
No, he's more of the aggressor, isn't he? I get
so
that.
That's why he's been a bit of the fall guy in this new formation, but he'll be back in. He'll play. Listen as well, people, it's 2 games of the season. We got Champions League football coming back. We're going to know who we got in the Champions League next season. Next week, isn't it? Next week, we will know who we got in the Champions League. So Gabriel...
Bayern Munich.
We won't be playing those formations much in Europe, right? I know we're going to get Bayern Munich. I know, Bayern Munich, Harry Kane. I know it, man. I know it already.
Guaranteed.
I already know it.
It's guaranteed.
So there's lots and lots of games to be played. Gabriel will play a big part for Arsenal. But I'm glad. It's one of those positions. There's 2 positions at the moment, central defence and striker, right? And even you could even say defensive midfield. Those positions, there ain't a load. You've got some top players in those positions, as we've seen with Declan Rice, the difference he's making at Arsenal at the moment. And then you got other players underneath them that are not as great.
One interesting
strikers. Look at the moment. At the moment, right? There's no strikers out there to buy. That's why Balogun's at such a premium at the moment.
And that's right. We should make sure that
Centre-backs, as I said, right now, Real Madrid are looking for centre-back. They can't. That's why they're having to look at Gabriel and that.
Well, Holden's available.
Oh, exactly. Holden's available.
If he got a Real Madrid move, he must be the luckiest guy in the world, must he? Like,
And then, that defensive midfielder position, look at how much money Rice and Caicedo and all these players have gone for. So,
listen,
keep hold of your best players.
One key thing that's come out this week is Pepe. What's going to happen with it? Is he going to be the one to back up?
I saw that rumour that there could be a U-turn on Pepe, that we could keep Pepe in the team. That Mikel Arteta spoke about. I still think Pepe will leave. I really do. He's not played a minute of pre-season. He's not played a minute. Unless he's in the squad for this week, which I doubt. I fully expect Pepe to leave. He's a high earner at the club. They want to get him off the wage bill. Remember, I think teams like Arsenal are also thinking ahead to January. So they think to themselves, right, if we've got a little bit of spare cash, any little thing happens in January, we know we can bring somebody in. So I don't expect... So
you don't expect Pepe to start?
I don't expect Pepe to be here.
Do you think Arsenal sign someone before the end?
I do. Yeah, I think Arsenal will sign at least another... I think the Timber injury means that Arsenal have to go back in the market. It's a little bit of limbo at the back. Well, I wouldn't say limbo, but it's changed things a bit.
We need someone.
And I think we could do with somebody there. But who that signing is going to be, I don't know. They pulled a lot of things out of the blue. So... Well,
I just think like with the Raya one now, like anything can go. Anything goes there.
And
anything goes.
I was thinking, could they go attacking? But they're not going to get that Mohamed Kudus now because he's gone to. He's going West Ham. They're not going to get that. Gabri Vega, he's gone to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
21. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting last week to the transfer window to see who Arsenal get, and I think they could pull a surprise. But certainly going to be a lot of players leaving. But prediction for the game on Saturday?
I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0?
I'll be peeved if it's 4-1 or 5-1 or 6-1. I don't want us conceding a goal at the Emirates. I want it to be a clean sheet, so I'm going to go 3-0.
I'll go 2-0. 2-0 to Arsenal against Fulham. We're really, really looking forward to the game. Chance for Arsenal
3 o'clock kickoff.
3 o'clock kickoff. You don't get many of them.
Don't get many of them.
Chance for Arsenal to keep that winning run going. The players will be chomping at the bit to get into that game. And don't forget, you can find out about everything to do with that game by checking us out here on AFTV. We've got match previews coming up to the game. Turkish with Box to Box, speaking to a Fulham fan, getting a real insight into Fulham at the moment, especially without Mitrovic. Right, so that's going to be interesting. And also on the match day, of course, we got the starting 11, which we do. That comes out an hour before the game. We're all over that. We'll be doing a big watch along to it. And of course, we'll be at the game speaking to fans after that. And then we'll be back next week with another Invincible podcast. And I'm sure we'll be reviewing that and be looking ahead to that big clash against Manchester United. Ooh. And next week's a busy week. And the Champions League draw. And the end of the transfer window. So busy week next week.
I know the guys are saying they can't wait for it to finish. I don't know why.
I'll get some sleep. Thanks for watching the Invincible podcast today. Don't forget, you can download it as well on all your streaming services. Thank you very much to the Tollington pub. Don't forget to check them out right here on Hornsey Road. Excellent pub to go to on a match day. And also, even if it's not a match day, great place to visit, great food, great drinks, great staff. So make sure you check them out here on Hornsey Road. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.